What's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, and I do hope you lot are all doing well today, man. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I go across the news, the media, consolidate everything being said about Chelsea Football Club, sift for it, find out if there's anything worth talking about or I'm interested in talking about, present it to you guys, give you my opinion on that, whatever that's worth, and more importantly, ask for your opinions down in the comment section below. And there are 3 things I want to talk about today. News outlets are reporting that Kai Havertz does not, in fact, require Champions League football to be at? Does not require his next club to be playing Champions League football next season. That's the way you structure a sentence. As I suspected, again, confirmed, maybe, I don't know, it's just in one of the media rags. Still, I want to touch on that and the importance of it when it comes to Chelsea potentially buying the player. I want to touch on an article that Liam Twomey wrote for The Athletic regarding Chelsea's lack of a vocal leader and talk about who potentially could come in and fit this or fill this massive void, really. More on that in a couple of minutes. And Chelsea new boy Hakim Ziyech watched over Chelsea's 1-0 against Norwich City in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Really devoid of that final pass, that creativity, the exact thing that Hakim Ziyech will offer. What's he thinking when he's sitting up there? Is he thinking, damn, I need to get down there ASAP? Anyway, it's positive to see him there, and I really just wanted to touch on that. But a quick moment to let you, man, know that this video is brought to you by OneFootball. That's right, I genuinely do use OneFootball every day. You can set up alerts, you can just check the scores, you can deep dive into matches and look at the statistics. You know I'm a stat man. Hey, you can be a stat man or stat woman too. With OneFootball, also gives you updates on transfer news, everything you need to know really. Make sure you do go check out OneFootball. I've left a link in the top of the description for you to go click on. Do yourself a favour, mate. Alright then, let's get into it. Hakim Ziyech, when he signed for Chelsea, he made a few comments about how he really likes how Chelsea play. They're an attacking team with a young coach. We know Frank Lampard had a lot to do with the signing of Hakim Ziyech, convinced him, did a lot of WhatsApp messagings with the player. And of course, Ziyech took part in the tie against Chelsea in the Champions League, which was quite the ding-dong. Certainly at Stamford Bridge, but sitting in the stands yesterday at the Premier League game against Norwich City, he must have thought, damn, for all this possession, there's a lot of benign movement, no creativity. This is not worrying, but this is exactly what I was bought to change. Sure, he'd be looking at Willian running up and down and doing superb defensive work and pressing, and that is indeed something Hakim Ziyech will have to do if he's to play for Frank Lampard's Chelsea. But in terms of that final pass, trying to find Giroud, trying to find Ruben Loftus-Cheek maybe, who made a lot of darting forward runs and was never found, this is the exact thing Hakim Ziyech will offer when he plays in this Chelsea team. So hopefully when he looks down at what was an incredibly boring performance from Chelsea Football Club, he'll be thinking, I would have done that, I would have done that, yep, I would have done this through there, and hopefully we'd be 2 or 3-0 up by now. Hopefully. The positive thing is, over on the other flank, he would have seen Christian Pulisic performing incredibly well, which is good. And hopefully safe in the knowledge that Timo Werner is arriving, and who knows, maybe even Kai Havertz. He'll be feeling very positive about next season. Certainly for us Chelsea fans, it's great to see him there. Alright, before we talk about Chelsea's lack of a vocal leader in the middle of the pitch and how that is frustrating Frank Lampard a lot of late, let's talk about Kai Havertz quickly and give you guys an update on Wagwan there. So initially the story came out regarding Bayer Leverkusen that they would sell, or certainly they would drop the price of Kai Havertz if they did indeed not qualify for the Champions League, because they would require the funds more so because, you know, post-pandemic world, or currently a pandemic world, everyone's been hit financially and they probably could have really done with the money, could have demanded more if they didn't need to sell, but if you need to sell, often the price comes down. Not qualifying for the UCL would mean they need to sell, and that's what happened. I mean, it's not set in stone yet, but it looks likely he'll move this summer. A new story recently broke that Kai Havertz would only consider joining a team with Champions League football, and I reported on this but immediately asserted my opinion, which was, why would he think like that? He's a 21-year-old player that's buying into a project and he has his whole life to play in the Champions League, and surely he'd want to develop with a team rather than being thrown into a new team against the likes of Real Madrid or whatever. It's about the project, it's about developing and building in something you trust. Turns out that, well, if you're to believe recent reports, it does turn out that that's not the case. Kai Havertz is willing and happy to join a team even if they're not in the Champions League. It's very much taking the next step and joining an exciting new project, and Frank Lampard's Chelsea represents exactly that. Chelsea at the moment are one of the teams in Europe that are very young and looking to bring in quality. If you're a young player and you want to develop with a young side that's already got some quality but that's bringing in more relatively young quality, I don't think there's another team like Chelsea in Europe doing that right now. Genuinely, you can look at Dortmund, but they buy and sell players. Leipzig, probably not as high profile as Chelsea, and they sell, they don't buy these big players. You could look at Manchester United maybe, but still I think Chelsea have more younger players at their disposal, and they've probably brought in more quality. And of course Manchester United haven't yet signed Jadon and Sancho, and Chelsea are above Man United in the league. People might be more excited to play for Frank Lampard as an attacking coach because up until relatively recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has played counter-attacking football, often with 5 along the back. It's only when Fernandes has come in when they've changed, and again, it hasn't been proven long term. So when it comes to an appealing and alluring and an attractive option, I think Chelsea are unmatched, personally, unless of course, a player just wants to join the real deal, the already made project like a Real Madrid or something. But when it comes to an up and coming project, Chelsea are unique. Right, so let's move on. I want to talk about something that Liam Twomey wrote about in The Athletic. He basically reiterated how Frank Lampard is not pleased with the lack of vocal behaviour on the pitch. Of course, after the 3-0 loss to Sheffield, Frank Lampard made some very stern comments about the lack of communication, the lack of talking on the pitch between the Chelsea players. Frank Lampard obviously hails from some of the greatest Chelsea teams that are all vocal, big characters, always chatting to each other, always commanding each other, and that's really, really important if you're to get through a really high profile, important and intense football match. Now, I'm not saying Chelsea don't have big characters, but they don't have any talkers. Sure, Jorginho is very commanding when he's on the pitch, but he's not always on the pitch at the moment, and his English isn't completely fluent. Even if he has a bit of that character, Chelsea need more. Chelsea need a real talker. Even if people are defending well at the back, like Kurt Zuma, Azpilicueta is a good captain in terms of his demeanour, how he represents the club, his professionalism. But Chelsea don't have that one person that's just going to tell you where to go, constantly scream at everyone, annoy people essentially, but set a example with his performance alongside his words. Personally, that's one of the reasons why I was interested in Declan Rice. Sure, he's put in some good defensive performances recently. We know he can play centre back rather well, but he captained West Ham to a win over Chelsea. West Ham did the double over us. He was always talking. He had a superb performance as a leader. And I'm not saying Declan Rice is the only example for this, but he's definitely an example, and if Chelsea can acquire him, that would be great. Sure, it's good to bring in a more cultured European player, fine, provided they speak fluent English so they can really communicate with the players on the pitch and they're commanding. I feel like it will be easier to get a Premier League player that's already in the Premier League, knows the opposition, so therefore is in a better place to say, you go there because that player does this. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. That's kind of why I like the idea of Declan Rice. But I'm keen to get your thoughts and opinions on this. Give me examples of players that you think might fit the bill, that you think might fill the void, if you will. Someone who can talk, someone that can command fellow players on the pitch, tell them where to go, rally a team when you go a goal behind, that sort of thing. Leave your suggestions down in the comment section below and I'll be really interested in having a little look at that. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it, that means a lot. Remember to subscribe if you're new, and also I want to take a second to offer you the opportunity to learn how I make YouTube videos. If you haven't checked out my second channel, Yan's Yard, I do daily content on there and I talk about different things, and today I'm going to be filming a video behind the scenes showing you how I make videos in football therapy. If that's something you think you'll be interested in, and also you may be interested in the other videos I upload on Yan's Yard, please consider going to subscribe. I'll pin a comment from that channel in the top of the comment section here so you guys can check it out. Hey, you might like it, man. Come support your boy. Other than that, you can follow me on social media at Football Yannick on both Instagram and Twitter. That's it from me, you lot. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.